Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Sadia Yakubu. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, Channel 365 and Star Times, Channel 276. And now the news in details. The Independent National Electoral Commission has recognized the Nadi Usman-led National Working Committee of the Labour Party following a federal high court order in Abuja. INEC updated its record to list Usman as caretaker committee chairperson after Justice Peter Lifu upheld a Supreme Court decision that ended Julius Abure's tenure as a national chairman. The Abure-led faction has rejected the ruling and vowed to appeal, deepening internal tensions within the opposition party ahead of the 2027 elections. The immediate past national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, has dismissed claims that Northern Nigeria will not support President Bola Tinubu's re-election bid in 2027. Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje stated this in Abuja while receiving a delegation of Northern Nigerian youth leaders drawn from various states who paid him a courtesy visit and formally decorated him as a patron of their forum. Our correspondent reports. The immediate past national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, says Nigeria is fortunate to be led by a president he described as a seasoned and pragmatic politician capable of taking tough but necessary decisions in the national interest. Ganduje insists there is no better candidate for southern Nigeria to lead the country beyond 2027 than President Bola Tinubu.
And from the southern part of Nigeria, there was no better person than Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We made our prediction, we made our confession, we made our commitment, and finally it became true. So Asiwaju has spent for only less than 4 years now. And we have seen the measures, the reforms that he undertook, the reforms that he introduced in order to improve the socio-economic development of this country.
Earlier, national leader of the movement, Murtala Muhammad Gamdi, described Dr. Ganduje as a role model, crediting him for empowering young leaders during his tenure as governor of Kano State. Gamdi said the forum has resolved to fully support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's re-election, pledging to mobilize youth across the 19 northern states and raise funds towards the president's nomination ahead of 2027 elections.
So we are here to tell you our aim and objective. As our father, whatever you focus, that is where we follow. With unanimous resolution, we have all agreed that this time around, inshallah, we are going to purchase from to Mr. President. We, the Northern Youth, there are nobody is better or is more powerful in this administration. Nobody have given support before even the campaign till date like you, our father.
The visit climaxed with the formal decoration of Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje as Grand Patron of the Northern Nigerian Youth Leaders Forum. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors have given the federal government a 4-week ultimatum to fully implement a standing agreement on salaries, allowances, and welfare. The decision followed the association's National Executive Council meeting held in Jos Plateau State, where members acknowledged progress on some areas but raised concerns over unpaid professional allowances and delayed promotions. The association warned that failure to act could worsen industrial relationships across public hospitals nationwide. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has denied reports that undergraduates are barred from sitting the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examinations. Speaking in Port Harcourt, JAMB Registrar Professor Isaac Oloyede said the claims were false and being spread by fraudsters impersonating board officials. He stressed that admitted students are legally allowed to seek a change of course or institution and warned parents against encouraging examination malpractice. Following growing concerns over declining services and worsening infrastructure on key rail corridors, the Senate has set up an ad hoc committee to probe the award and execution of railway contracts across the nation. The decision was taken after lawmakers raised alarm over disruptions on the Kano-Kaduna rail line. National Assembly correspondent Aniti Patrick completes the story.
The resolution followed the points of order raised by Senator Abdul Ningi, who drew the Senate's attention to what he described as the tragic decline in operations on the Kano-Kaduna rail corridor. He told the chamber that passenger services on the routes have dropped to just one trip per day, while cargo movement time has nearly doubled.
While the railway was working on full capacity, they were, of course, creating a revenue of close to 1.8 billion monthly. The story I'm about to reel out, Mr. President, that at this moment, there is no live cargo except one.
Supporting the concern, Senator Adamu Aleru said persistent bandit attacks have caused extensive damage to rail facilities, contributing significantly to the reduction in train operations.
It is true that the number of trips has dropped drastically from 5 to only 1. And this is simply because the bandits have damaged the truck.
However, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, dismissed claims that inadequate funding was the primary challenge, insisting that poor quality infrastructure and substandard execution of contracts were at the heart of the problem. He stressed the need for a thorough legislative investigation into how railway projects were designed, awarded, and implemented.
We had set up a committee under you to look into this railway system. Look at the rail tracks, look at the coaches and everything, and why they were failing. And why it would take, like he said, 3.5 hours for something that should take 25 minutes to Kaduna by the modern railway standard.
The Senate says the ad hoc committee will examine railway project designs, funding patterns, execution standards, and maintenance frameworks, with a view to restoring efficiency and safety across Nigeria's rail network. From the National Assembly, Aniti Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
The Armed Forces of Nigeria says it has recorded major operational success across the country, neutralizing terrorists, dismantling illegal oil facilities, arresting hundreds of criminal elements, and rescuing kidnapped victims in coordinated operations nationwide. The update was given by Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Michael Onoja, during the monthly operational briefing in Abuja. Defense correspondent Kikelomo Okeli has the details.
The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Michael Onoja, disclosed that troops working with air assets and other security agencies dismantled 53 illegal refining sites, neutralizing scores of terrorists, arrested over 450 suspects, and rescued more than 250 kidnapped victims across the country within the period under review.
With illegal refining activities in the Niger Delta region, the air component of Operation Delta Safe conducted armed reconnaissance missions over Bakana and Abuloma towns. During the mission, it was observed that a large-sized barge was siphoning petroleum products. The target was acquired and engaged accordingly.
In the northeast, Major General Onoja says troops of Operation Adinkai sustained aggressive ground and air operations against Boko Haram, ISWAP, and JAS elements across Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe states. Between January 1 and 29, scores of terrorists were neutralized, 74 suspects arrested, 40 kidnapped victims rescued, while 44 terrorists and their families surrendered. It further reels out that in the southeast, Operation Udoka saw over 80 militants surrendered, dozens arrested, and kidnapped victims rescued, alongside a noted reduction in criminal activities across the region.
24 terrorists and their family members surrendered to troops during the month under review. Interestingly, 5 terrorist top commanders and 3 of their lieutenants were neutralized during firefights within the region.
The achievement recorded in January 2026, Major General Onoja says, cut across all theaters of operations and underlined the military's sustained push to restore peace, protect lives, and secure critical national assets. The Military High Command assures that pressure will be sustained on criminal elements nationwide with stronger interagency collaboration and community engagement. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
Margarine and Saudi Arabia have moved to deepen bilateral cooperation in housing development, construction, technology, and local building materials manufacturing, following high-level talks on the sidelines of the 2026 Real Estate Future Forum in Riyadh. Minister of Housing and Urban Development Ahmed Dangiwa held a bilateral meeting with Saudi Arabians and Minister of Municipal and Rural Affairs and Housing, Majid bin Abdullah, where both sides explored areas of strategic collaboration to attract private capital and accelerate large-scale housing delivery in Nigeria. At the meeting, Dangiwa presented Nigerians' renewed Hope Housing Program, describing it as a flagship intervention designed to deliver homes at scale cross-income segment through structured public-private partnerships. The Rivers State government has denied allegations that it blocked a pro-Tinubu group from using the Yakubu Gowon Stadium in Port Harcourt. Officials said the facility is ongoing major reconstruction and remains unsafe for large gatherings due to underground piping and structural hazards. The government insisted that the decision was based solely on safety concerns and not political considerations. The Court of Appeal in Ilorin, Kwara State has upheld the death sentences imposed on 5 men convicted over the 2018 Offa Bank robbery. The appellate court unanimously dismissed the convicts' appeals, affirming that the prosecution proved charges of armed robbery, illegal possession of firearms, and culpable homicide beyond reasonable doubt. Although the convicts retained the right to approach the Supreme Court, officials said the chance of overturning the verdict remains slim. You're watching the live broadcast of Midday News. The Midday News continues after this weather forecast plus business, foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
Thank you for joining us. Here is a look at the weather outlook as we head into Saturday. Dust haze remained the dominant weather condition across the northern cities and the north-central region. However, higher concentration of dust particles are expected over parts of Taraba, Plateau, Kaduna, the Federal Capital Territory, and Niger State. While visibility is not expected to be significantly reduced, individuals with respiratory conditions are advised to take necessary precautions. And across the southern region, morning thunderstorms are likely over parts of Akwa Ibom, with more widespread thunderstorm activities expected across Ondo, Edo, Bayelsa, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, and River State. And that's the weather forecast. I am Akemi Samada.
Welcome back from that short break. And in business news, the Senate has fixed March 17 for the final passage of the 58.47 trillion naira 2026 federal budget. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Appropriations, Solomon Adeola, said the timeline includes public hearings, committee-level budget defense, and consultations with economic managers. President Bola Tinubu presented the budget to the National Assembly in December, describing it as a framework for economic consolidation and shared prosperity. The federal government has expressed determination to overhaul Nigeria's cooperative sector through full digitalization. This is in a bid to improve transparency, governance and access to economic opportunities for millions of Nigerians. The plan was unveiled in Abuja at a stakeholders meeting reviewing the Nigerian Cooperative Societies Act. Our correspondent Aniti Patrick reports.
Nigeria's over 30,000 registered cooperative societies may soon operate a modern digital framework as the federal government intensifies efforts to reposition the sector as a key driver of inclusive economic growth. Speaking at a stakeholders meeting in Abuja, the Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Aliu Abdullahi, said digitization will transform cooperative operations, ensure transparency in financial reporting, and strengthen trust among members.
The Cooperative Societies Act is one of the most efficient and critical legislations that governs the cooperative sector in Nigeria. It defines how we organize, regulate, supervise, promote, protect, and strengthen the cooperative movement.
According to him, cooperatives, when properly structured, can serve as powerful tools for capital mobilization, job creation, poverty reduction, and agricultural productivity. He said the key components of the reform include digital registration, a national cooperative database, electronic membership, identification, and improved filing and reporting systems. The minister also disclosed that a harmonized national document aligned with continental cooperative laws and declarations will soon be finalized, with international partners joining the reform process. The President's Cooperative Federation of Nigeria, Hanatu Mashek, noted that the initiative would boost confidence in cooperatives and unlock new opportunities across the sector.
By taking depositors' money, it means you have gone outside the cooperative principle. So this time around, the cooperative bank must align to the cooperative identity. That's the only thing. Anything outside it, we're not going to get it.
With agriculture and community enterprise at the heart of Nigeria's economic diversification drive, the federal government believes a digitally empowered cooperative system could become a major catalyst for shared prosperity. From Abuja, Anieti Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has given domestic airlines 7 days to include special needs assistance options on the ticket reservation platforms. The directive aims to improve access and protection for passengers with disabilities and persons with reduced mobility. NACA warned that airlines failing to comply will face regulatory sanctions. And on the foreign scene, the United Nations has warned that climate-driven flooding in Mozambique has displaced hundreds of thousands of people and overwhelmed temporary shelter. United Nations High Commission for Refugees says overcrowding, lack of basic services, and continued rainfall have left women, children and elderly and persons with disabilities at heightened risk. Humanitarian agencies are appealing for urgent international funding as flood risk remains high and further displacement is expected. South Africa and Israel have expelled each other's top diplomats after Pretoria declared Israeli Charge d'Affaires Ariel Sedman persona non grata for violating diplomatic norms and ordered him to leave within 72 hours. Israel swiftly retaliated by expelling South Africa's envoy to Palestine. Sharon Award has tensions between the two countries continue to escalate following South Africa's genocide case against Israel at an international court of justice. South African's authority accused Sedman of attacking President Cyril Ramaphosa on official social media platforms and facilitating unauthorized visit by Israel officials, actions both sides says justify an unprecedented diplomatic fallout. Venezuela's interim president Delcy Rodriguez has announced a proposal for sweeping amnesty covering political violence from 1999 to present, weeks after the removal of former President Nicolas Maduro. Speaking at the Supreme Court in Caracas, Rodriguez also unveiled plans to shut down the notorious El Heloside prison and convert it into a public facility for police, families, and surrounding communities. The reforms, including new laws opening Venezuela's oil sector to private investment, have drawn strong support from the United States and President Donald Trump. And in sports, Real Madrid will face Benfica in a Champions League play-off round following Friday's draw, setting up a quick rematch after the Portuguese side defeated them in the league phase. The loss pushed Madrid out of the top 8 and into the play-off, while Paris Saint-Germain will face domestic rivals Monaco after finishing 11th in the standings. The two-legged ties will be played in February, with winners advancing to the last 16 in March ahead of the final. Nigerian senior men handball team has crashed out of qualification for the 2027 IHF World Championship after a 25-20 defeat to Angola in Kigali, Rwanda. Despite leading at halftime, the Golden Arrows struggled in the second half after Farouk Yusuf was sent off, allowing Angola to dominate and secure Africa's 5th World Cup ticket. The loss ended Nigerians' campaign at the African Men's Handball Nations Cup, despite strong performances from Hakim Sadami and Hafiz Suleiman. Novak has defeated reigning champion Jannik in a gripping 5-set semi-finals to reach the Australian Open final. The 38-year-old Serbian star fought back from behind to win 3-6, 6-3, 4-6, 6-4, 6-4, and will now face top seed Carlos in Sunday's final. A victory won would earn Djokovic a record-breaking 25 Grand Slam title, cementing his status as one of the Chinese greatest players. And that's it on Midday News. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, Channel 365 and StarTimes, Channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using that Global TV NG. I am Sadia Yakubu saying thank you for watching.
Thank you for joining us. Here is a look at the weather outlook as we head into